he's going to search and correct this top nicely, and he evaporated.
Oh, Kissay!
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the LCO, delivered by Menulog. We've just been having fun on our break. A whole lot of fun, actually. Skimmy, do you want to repeat what we did on our break?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. No, he
We've got a
doesn't.
third game to jump on into either way. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. Maybe. We already had one upset today, which one person got right on the couch. Just don't know who that was.
One person didn't predict it correct, but they were coerced by kind words into it.
Coercion.
It worked.
It's not illegal. But at the same time, look, let's talk about Pentsnet, who may have coerced everyone else on the couch, maybe all four of us, to actually, predict for them. I guess we'll see when we get the predictions. But for now, tell me what they're going to do today to Mammoth, Skimmy.
Well, I think for them, they want to just come at them full force, angry gaming, as they do time and time again, right? You want to see Praetor and Rogue just pop off and showcase that they are, a bot lane to be feared. They've had their moments, right, where they've absolutely crushed, especially in those early weeks, the Lucian and the Nami, or any kind of Enchanter variation. In recent weeks, it feels like it's definitely more shifted towards Yuri and Balkan, kind of like we saw moments like that in Split 1 being the real catalyst. I would love to see Yuri fully unleashed and play some hyper carry champions like the Yone, like a Lucian mid, for instance, but I just feel like those champions are going to be perma-banned away. Then Wintrail, obviously, is always giving us that spice of life, right? He can default to a Sejuani and Ornn if he needs to, but in recent games, he's given us a set, he's given us a Rumble, so like if you're ever going to get something weird and wacky in the top lane, Wintrail's your man.
He certainly will be. And look, you got Rogue as well, looking handsome as ever. And speaking of handsome, we got 5 handsome men to have a look at from Mammoth. Still got Mikru there in the mid lane. So Rusty, what are we expecting from them today?
Well, I don't think we'll be expecting too much different from Mammoth to what we've been seeing the past couple of weeks. Pat Price is the KO player of the league. I'm expecting that to be banned away from him, but we're getting to see a little bit more from Mammoth incrementally, not in leaps and bounds in terms of performance, but we're starting to see this gradual shift to some potential there, right? I think the consistency of using Mikru for over a longer period of time than what we thought was going to be a single game speaks towards the team's comfort with him now, right? It's not just going to be a once-off anymore.
Yeah.
The question for me is what champions can he realistically play? Because he looked good in game 1 on the Yone, but has had a couple of roughies since.
Yeah, that's very true. I feel like maybe there's a chance for him to run it back on that today. That against a lot of the top teams, they have been saying that they're just really sort of playing around with their drafts. Like we saw Shyvana picked up by Mayfun last week, and he didn't know how to build her. And he said that on Twitter afterwards. He just he did it for the comp, build all over the place.
How is Shyvana for the comp?
I don't know, man.
What comp is
that
the
was,
Shyvana
that
angle?
was my interpretation.
So go next comp.
Did it for the fun of it, It could have worked.
Did it for the content.
Look, Balkan roasted him on Twitter. So what I'm expecting today is maybe we got Balkan, pulling out the shiv, saying this is how we do it. So
good.
Maybe Mammoth, could get schooled in a couple of the picks from last week. I guess we'll see how that statement evolves. I guess we'll see if we do see Shyvana come through, because of course it's always Chippy's doing a lot of the heavy hit and heavy talking for the boys there in PGG. Either way, we have Voice ready for an interview, so let's hear from the man. It's been a while, mate. How have you been? Hey?
Not bad. I've been pretty chill this split. It's been a lot more fun than last split, I won't lie. A lot less nerves, so I feel like I've been playing a lot more fun champions than last split.
Yeah, I have noticed, even when you guys are down, real bad in a lot of the games you have been playing, it always goes to your player cam, and I'm expecting some rage, I'm expecting some anger, and you're just laughing. You're just constantly laughing. You're having a good time. So it's good to see, the mental and the positivity in the Mammoth camps looking good. Now, ADC meta was there. We've had a couple of changes. Are there any that are affecting you? Because, of course, there's that Zeri nerf coming through.
I don't know how much the Zeri nerf really changes. I think that champ is still, really broken. I don't think... I guess the, good matchups are slightly better now. Twitch is probably really, really good into it again because the W isn't as big a threat, but I think the champion is still just so broken it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Well, yesterday, it was compliment yourself in the mirror day, but I'm not going to ask you that one. It was also stay out of the sun day. So make sure, I want to know from you, who on your team is the one staying out of the sun the most? Who's got the most pale skin? Who's, the least likely to have skin damage?
Probably Mikru, I'd say. Or Paprise. Actually, no, Paprise.
Okay.
Never mind. That guy is, he just goes work, back to home, and then there's no in between. He doesn't do anything else. Respect.
All right, well, when DreamHack comes around, maybe we can get Paprise and we'll get him to touch some grass and see if he survives. Either way, look, well, good luck in your game today, Voice. We'll talk to you after if you get the fatty dub.
All right, thank you.
I got him to throw
You like
Paprise.
that one,
That's
though?
real good. Yeah,
He's going to go straight back to comments and be like, you never know what Mac told me, mate.
You know, is
You'll
it
never
celebrities in cars drinking coffee or something? The Jerry Seinfeld interview series. We can have like gamers touching grass, eating ramen or something.
Hey, that's a segment.
Yeah.
Hey, Cookie.
Can have that
you
one for
watching?
free.
Cookie.
Picnics in the park.
Content.
Gamers
Content.
touching grass has
I
to
like-
be in the title.
Sure.
Ramen?
Sure.
Bloody, I don't know. Pick.
Mac's just got a scarf on.
Menulog segment. So
Yeah.
easy. So easy. Look, Dare fan vote. Get your Twitch points in on which team you think is going to win. Of course, look, PGG going to be outstanding favourites here, but Mammoth, they're always in with a shot. You never know what they're going to pull out of that hat. It might be won or lost in the draft, and either way, with this new patch, we could get a couple of crazy things. Maybe some Belveth, maybe PGG just like let it through. Who bloody knows?
I think that's the angle. I think that's the way you'd want to approach it for Mammoth is to try and continue to do what you've done in recent games, right, against some of the heavy hitters in the league and try and do some crazy drafts, right? Like you said with the Shyvana, where a comp was built around it to try and get as many Drakes as quickly as possible, so they did have a real win condition to play for. The other game, right, they had a Seraphine and a Pike in a bot lane together to try and really abuse just resets into high poke, into high pressure, into high kill threat. So I think, yeah, up against Pentanet, you would look and say pound for pound, yeah, Pentanet are a stronger team, but there's definitely some ways you can, upset the balance.
And as you can see with our predictions, we all went for Pentanet. I just sort of blanket statement when I said they are the favourites. At this point, it's kind of expected for us to go for that unless I'm coerced, which I can be, as you saw. It worked well. I'm happy.
It did actually work better than it should have for you because that was such a on the whim decision.
That's the Mac magic.
Yeah, it worked.
Get me on your side, maybe. With me believing, there's extra belief in the team and all these underdogs. They can just start winning. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying for all you LCO players watching. I know there's at least 100,000 of you out there.
Do your research.
Into Mac.
Learn about Mac inside and out.
research.
Literally read a bibliography. This is your life, Mac.
That is my life. Well, this is your life, is reading out drafts and talk about
cool.
champs, because Champ Select is ready for game 3 of the day.
So he is. So let's see what happens here, Mac. As it's going to be a chance for a full squad of Mammoth. If we date our mind back to when they first played, it would have been Voice in the top lane. We had District 1 come in as well. But this time, full composition. So the Kale tax has been paid. Makes sense. The Diana's been banned away as well, which is a pick we've not seen at all.
We haven't seen it, but we have been talking about this for maybe every week of patch breakdowns. I've brought up Diana Yasuo as a combo. Watching the LCS today, they had Gragas Yasuo. There's more than one Yasuo combo. They had Senna Yasuo bot lane.
We've seen that, yep.
Mikru is a Yone player, presumably can play Yasuo.
Hope so.
And a magic damage jungler with a Yone mid lane makes sense that they get rid of something like the Diana. So I am wondering if this is just information that they've seen from solo queue. Mayfun just been on that grind, just ride or die Diana spec for the week. And they're like, we can't have that. We also know Voice plays Seraphine. No hesitation. They'll remove that one. This is interesting though, because I feel like we are now at a point with Twitch and Zeri gone, but so many good AD carries, inclusive of Lucian Nami. If you think back to Mammoth's best draft, best game that they have played, it was the Lucian Nami comp. But also the cat. I'm sure Rogue is so excited to be here. In fact, he's feeling so excited he's going to do up his tie.
He is. He did struggle with that last time, right? Lost and drafted that one.
Yes, he did. He'll also have plenty of time to do it, though. You want to Google a guide on your second screen? It's only Yuumi.
You're playing Yuumi.
It's only Yuumi.
Hands off keyboard, let Praetor win the game
I think
for
we
you.
just sit here and judge him. He doesn't know where to go from here. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Nah, take the cam off me, please, production. He doesn't know, but we do.
Oh, he's going for the
Okay, here we go.
schoolboy tie.
Being a little bit manacle.
Ah, he's got it.
Yeah, do it up.
Looks like the small part of the tie is longer, though, so he's really messed it up. All right, it's hidden. You can't see
Dapper
it.
Rogue
No,
does
he's
it again.
good,
Thank you,
he's good.
production, for letting us, realize that tension. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, right? The Lucian and the Nami was what Mammoth used to try and get their win over Peace, but also it was what Pensnet played against this team last time, right? It's been banned away perma.
It's the
You were
Amumu.
talking about Amumu buffs.
You know what beats Yumi? A big old Curse of the Sad Mummy.
Few bandages.
How's the taxi going to be there if you just chuck out some bandages? Amumu's buffs on this patch, I mentioned this, there was base damage on the ultimate. There was also mana cost on the Q. I think it's gone down by like half from memory. I'm going to have to double check it. But
Sure.
Amumu in jungle has mana, right? Because you have the jungle item, it gives you so much mana back. You're never going to be out of mana as you clear your camps. Amumu in support doesn't have the jungle item for mana, and Relic Shield doesn't give mana back. It's a health item, health regen item. So that's a massive Amumu support buff. That's what I theorized when I read it. I was like, I'm sure it'll be picked for support if we do see it. But listen, if Mayfarm wants to play as jungle, you do what you want to do.
Let's see, they can certainly taunt and say it could be flexed at the moment. Pensnet going to say, well, we've got ourselves an Ezreal and a Yuumi. We can couple that with a Swain as well, one that we've only seen played in the top lane so far by Wintero. Wouldn't be surprised if Yuri had that available for himself as well, but they're actually going to cycle through their options, go for a scaling mid-mage in the Corki.
Yeah, so they're going to give themselves a pretty big scaling option for sure. I mean, that's all their comp is right now, right? Amumu's not renowned for early game prowess. He's going to be able to have that one punch, but he's a level 6 champion with high cooldowns. For Mammoth, it's already team fighting and scaling, but PGG have got an Ezreal Yuumi. They can play flexibly here with this Swain locked in as well. Consider it a flex still for Winterer. He has played the Swain before. Viego ban's an interesting one. They are just going to get rid of some AD junglers. And we also still, we don't have Wukong up anymore. We don't have Viego up. We've got the Volibear, even though Predator's been nerfed. Trundle exists, right? Decent if Mumu's a Aftershock support user, which I believe is. Could be Glacial Augment, to be fair, if you see a Trundle reactively. And Graves, that's specifically from Balkan.
For sure. Big focus.
This is a Belveth Sejuani angle from
It's
PGG,
Balkan
isn't
versus Voice, isn't it? You know, you shut down one carry, they shut down the other. He locks in the Kaiser instead, though, a champion he's well versed on.
You know what it could be? If I was Pensinet.gg here, Shavana Sejuani. Just bang, lock it in. Ego on Mammoth. just show them how it's done. It'd have to be AD Shiv, though, that's the issue.
Is it happening? Please, Yuri.
No, it could be Winterer. Yone's been...
I mean, it could be.
Yone's been more top than mid, I think, the past week.
Sure. I guess Broken Blade would be one of the ones that spring to mind if you think about the top lane Yone, but...
The LCK, we saw it in LCS today as well. I do think that this Blade of the Ruin King Yone build is starting to really run rampant through pro leagues in general.
We get some Dark Tech from Chovy, some Sunfire Capes and the likes.
Right, yeah, we could. Blade of the Ruin King's your first item. I mean,
Push the limit, why not?
Okay.
And the Vi as well.
Okay.
There's a lot to digest in this draft, right? A lot of unique champions coming out from the woodwork.
It's a hard life to be a Kaiser. That's what I'm going to say here. You've locked in Kaiser and they've just slapped down a Yone and a Vi and you've been checkmated from the first second. If that was a Philios, it'd actually be just confusing. So the Volibear is going to be locked in. This does mean it is going to be a Mumu Kaiser bottom lane. Kaiser very good with those engaged supports, of course. It's not a Nautilus, but it is something that you could call a Nautilus replacement. In that respect, Volibear able to dive that lane very successfully as well. They have, however, got a Corki that wants to scale mid and a Gangplank that can win lane, but generally also just wants to scale up as well in top lane. So there is volatility there for them. And Kaiser's not known for, it's not a Lucian, right? Like it's not a, I will win this lane. But with a Volibear there, they can. I think that's where they're really looking at right now. If I was Mayfarm, I'm pathing to bottom. And I'm saying good luck, Paprise.
Infinite CC setups, no doubt about it, right? The fact that Voice then should have his passive stacked up with the Plasma quite easily. But yeah, I think I can identify that quite easily as well, right? Paprise is going to be told, you're going to have your kegs, you're going to trim that wave, you're going to do your damn hardest to try and win out at 1v1, or just hold your own if you do get dives, because there's certainly going to be diving pressure on their front as well. You look at it, it's not going to be as clear-cut as a Volley and an Amumu, but certainly a Swain and a Vi can put in a sizable amount of work, especially when level 6 comes online. Quick fun fact for you, the last time we saw a Vi was actually played by Kevy, nearly a year to the date today. It was played, yeah, a very long time ago. So
it's a CLG tech.
It's a bit of a blast to the past.
You just bring out a champion that people aren't too familiar with, but you've been rehearsing all week, and suddenly it throws them for a loop. But it's interesting because I don't think this is the game that PGG would bring out something new, right? Like, it must be that the Vi is either being tested or it is known among the competitive landscape. Because you don't really look at Mammoth, and this is just speaking as frankly as I possibly can. Your PGG, you don't look at Mammoth and say, well, this is where we reveal tech. You save that for the big games, right? You want to hide the strategies. So that's why I think either it's just known or they want to see if it's just like it works here, right? Kai'Sa, very good damage threat to engage on. Corki wants to sit back and kite, poke. Vi prevents that from happening by promising an engage.
Certainly does, and it's certainly promised that we've got a draft that we can be very much excited for. We got that explosive carry performance with Yuri in the mid lane with the Yone. We've got ourselves a blast to the past with a tattoo that Rusty is yet to get in the Amumu. It's happy times across the board here as we load into the Rift for that third game of the day, as we kickstart another chance for some Super Week action. Well, let's crack on with the coach interview. Let's welcome back to the desk. We've got Coach Rowe from the side of Mammoth. Mate, how are we?
I'm going quite well. I'm excited as always to see how this one goes out.
No doubt. I mean, you've obviously thrown us a lot of curveballs, which we can get into in a second. But I have to ask, I mean, for a lot of these players now, this will be their second time going around into a Super Week. So what were some of the lessons they gathered and gained, yourself included, from Split 1 that you can now bring forward and try and make this Super Week a little bit easier to manage?
I mean, I think it's just as simple as Super Weeks are terrifying. You have a long time that you're playing games, 3 days in a row, and a lot of the time you have severe problems with mental. I'm no stranger to going 0-2 in the Super Week, right? And when you go 0-2 in those first few days, it can be really disastrous for your third game, even if everything goes as you want it. So in terms of prepping and wanting to do well in the Super Week, really focus on those first few games, make sure you have a strong start.
And then I guess it ties in quite nicely into my question about this draft, right? Obviously, you've thrown us a fair few curveballs, none bigger than an Amumu coming back for such a long time. So is this literally, from what you can tell us, is this scrim data revealing that, we want to try something different here? Or is this more so we want to try and throw our opposition off the ball and, with all these meta champions banned away, they might not expect it?
Yeah, I think I'm just a big fan of the Amumu personally. It came in a little bit in Worlds back in the past and then phased out, but it had a little bit of a resurgence recently, and it does a lot of good things, and it's just very, very easy to play. So hopefully we can make some team fights happen and it can show its power.
Beautiful. Well, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how you boys fare this week as well. Always a pleasure. Best of luck.
Thanks, man. See ya.
So a couple of things here. Skimmy, one is mid lane's matchup is pretty rough for the Corki. More often than not, you'll find that Yuri will have an advantage there, particularly from level 3 onwards. But this is an interesting matchup because it is also a Yone player, or one trick, I guess, into a Yone. So if anyone's going to be familiar with the combos, it would be Mikru. Mayfan now invading here is about to find Balkan.
Certainly is. Looking to try and steal this one away, but first of all, getting the slappy hands active and looking for the kill. He's looking for it. Balkan's procced that shield, but he needs more than that. He needs help, he needs protection, and he just won't find it. First blood for Mammoth.
Very well done by Mayfan. Also not in the bush is Balkan, so very clearly not expecting that to happen. Mid lane just trading super aggressively here. Yuri going to get some good damage down, but it's even in the end. And Mayfan just going to take away these jungle camps. You've also got Ali G roaming up here. There's no way a level 2 dive from an Amumu happens, right? It is a glacial augment. Yuri has exhaust. Okay, so Mayfan with flash. If Balkan didn't pass straight to his raptors, which makes sense, they would have dove. But I'm confused. They've got... Oh no, he's hit the one rat. There is a single chicken nugget. He's managed to find the one chicken nugget.
He's hit the chicken nugget 6-pack. And he's in a bit of a food coma now. Back to bot lane he goes to chill out. Tragedy.
That's so sad. He had 7 seconds worth of time to throw an ability and found the one moment that there was something blocking it. Level 2 Mumu will limp back to lane. Mayfan having a crack middle. Flashes.
Really keen for this one, flashing onto it, but Yuri can just flash away. There's no follow-up, so it seemed really adventurous, but he's not taking any prisoners this game.
Mammoth's jungler's just going coast to coast. Paprise is going to place a ward in the river a little bit too late. That's also a very shallow ward. I'm not a fan of it. Means that right now you're looking at Balkan who's going to do Krugs. Can smite away the camp if he wants to do this quickly and immediately go towards the gangplank because this wave is not looking good for Paprise. In saying that, it is very reliant on Winterer hitting a claw first so the follow-up can be there. You want to try and get the oranges out from that ability.
I do want to try and bait that out, and no doubt we're going to see that in an active trading pattern take place here. Claw missed, so Paprai still intact, but there was the wraparound. Level 3 Balkan looking for it, charging up that fist. 1, 2, 3, proc the damage. And that's all it'll be.
That's it, right? No claw, no chance to actually do meaningful damage. Just going to be able to walk that one out. Mikra also controlling mid lane right now as we look at this one. The first strike, Corki doing well, but keep in mind it is an exhaust from Yuri. Ignite probably is kill threat here.
Excellent, could be.
It's also just very interesting that he chose exhaust in general. It's not going to be in range to exhaust a Corki, right? Kais is the person that you're looking to probably get the exhaust on. The slow would be nice to stop Mayfront from catching you, but if he has ultimate, he's going to cover that distance regardless. Gangplank, absolutely, but surely you'd value the Ignite just as much for kill threat.
Yeah, I'm wondering. But not it's just a case of you tap the soul on bound, you find a target, you lock them down, and you get as much uptime as possible before you get slingshot back. Great, with some nice trading. Also, another projectile coming out of the Yuumi as well, so great 2v1 for them.
Yeah, voice has just been done in. Drake to be secured here, almost 100%, depending on how Balkan plays this. He's a crazy enough jungler to make it work, and does love a bit of aggression, but he is so far behind in the jungle role specifically in that 1v1. And LEG has been just a river roamer the entire time. You look bottom, it's just a 1v2. LEG refuses to participate, but has got Relic Shield and a juicy looking cannon to get in here for, so probably try and secure that one at least before he disappears again.
Imagine he's not anticipating too much action in the spot lane, right? Given that the Kaiser's gone for a cold start, the Praetor Ezreal with the tier as well. Quite content just farming up, hitting skill shots and gaining CS. Keen to see what they can do on the map. I guess now the burden really is on Pendant to try and unlock a way back in for Balkan here.
And Yuri really is just passively farming in this mid lane as well. Wants to make no risks, make no mistakes. Mayfan level 6 has a level advantage.
Balkan should be okay just to dash across the wall if he can buffer it. It might be on cooldown. No, forcing out the flash. No level 6. And the early invade, still bearing the brunt of those consequences.
Yuri losing that trade. There was no W there from Corki, right? No dash to get himself out, so the trade was forced by Yuri, but refuses to ult, refuses to exhaust, actually just walks in and takes a trade face-to-face with Corki. It's the threat of all-in that tends to me, make the difference between this matchup. Corki should be afraid of an all-in, but right now I feel like every time he tries to make these attempts, he's just being bested because he's not threatening, he's just trying to harass.
Harassing, they're trading evenly, and as you said, Yone, Wondrick and Mikra are going to be very content, I'm sure, knowing the limits of what can be achieved. Very exciting to see how this one does transpire. We do find ourselves any kill in this isolated 1v1.
Also curious exactly what the secondary runes here are from Yuri. Second wind again, something that would do wonders for him with Doran's shield to survive the Corki lane. Because what you're seeing right now is two people in mid that are chunked. But Yuri, when they're both half health, has way more kill threat, has a higher lethal range that he can aim for. That's kind of the trades that you're expecting to see, right? If you get even trades, that's winning for Yone most of the time, and that is absolutely the runes that he's opted for.
Yeah,
but
with the unflinching as well, he'll need that in a second because he's going to get CC'd and locked on down. No, he's hit the exhaust and he's hit the... Did the cooldown go off? I don't see it on the screen, but ultimately, that's what he just did.
Yeah, he's just been done in. Very well done by Mikru, to be fair. Kites towards his jungler, plays towards his point of strength, and hitting that rocket at the last second was outstanding. It was the last rocket in the chamber as well. Mayfan now going to try and steal this one away. A prowling projectile.
1 HP, as close as it comes. In goes Balkan. 1, 2, 3, locking him down with damage. Praetor hunting across the angle. The slam dunk down. The curse of the Sad Mummy doesn't exist because they're only level 5. Ali G picks up the kill onto Balkan, making his life go from bad to worse. A double kill for a supporter Mumu. Now I've seen it all. Yuri, angry, avenged.
There's no way.
He's got the ultimate. And he slingshots right on back.
Praetor is putting in work here, but I feel like Praetor is standing there watching as the walls just come tumbling down around him, and his team is just dying left, right, and center. The lone Ezreal stands and watches it all crumble. 2,000 gold lead now for Mammoth. Yes, money perhaps not in the right places with LEG, but for Azonia's building support, that's pretty valuable. The closer you are to getting that Zonias, the more teamfight impact you would have. That is definitely a staple for a Mumu, but it's not going to be his first item from the looks of it with a Ruby Crystal already there, which is totally fine.
was wondering when we saw that zoom in if LAG was tossing up the idea of a flash bandage toss. Try and force out that kill. Obviously still no level 6, mustn't be too far away from unlocking that.
There's just so many question marks here, Skimmy. Do you ever, as the Vi in this situation, look at Mayfun and say, this is the angle. I can, as Vi, take down an ult up Volibear. Just big question marks, right? Like, lots of confusing stuff happening. And then they double down. Rogue goes. Yuri tries to ult as if he's going to get something back. No damage calculations done. He's got a Doran's shield. He's got Resolve secondary tree. He's not here to deal damage. He's here to scale and survive. And to get towards his, what I'm assuming is crit items for the mid Yone. It's top Yone that tends to go Blade of the Ruin King.
Frustration here for Balkan, though. Going to go for a cross-map play. Check out the enemy red and realize that's gone as well. No chance for a steal. Down a substantial amount of gold in this game. All credit to Mayfun.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't ask for a better start if you're Mammoth, right? We've seen 2 games back-to-back where the junglers are really controlling the show. Important to note here, Mikru with package, Drake up in 18 seconds. I feel like Mammoth start this on cooldown. Make sure they get this one. And it shouldn't really be contested. The question is, how do they play for the cross-map? If you are Mammoth with a Corki package, do you actually allow Pentanet.gg to trade at all? And I feel like the answer should be no. They should be able to get towards this Rift Herald. But they're not going to. They're just going to take the objective. Which in a sense wastes the Corki package, right? You're going to pick up the package. You really want to try and use it for something meaningful.
That threat alone guarantees it. And it does give Voice an opportunity for some solo experience as well as some pressure to achieve a turret play. There it is. Balkan did pick up the Herald. They were pinging furiously topside before, so potentially going to be an instant summon to try and give Winter some love. Looks like that might just be the case. And a race to get that first turret in the game.
Will be very easily won by the team with a Rift Herald. 3 plates still there on the bot lane turret. And Praedyth and Rogue can just harass and poke. They are. They take away majority of the Krug camp's gold value so far. He's taken as much as he possibly can. And he's going to push Mayfun back.
Thanks for the leash.
Mammoth's decision making in a single moment here has just died. They don't trade for Herald. They don't contest the Herald. They use the Corki package for the Drake. They then try and go bottom, which just allows the Herald to be summoned top in a full turret. They were 2,000 gold ahead, Skimmy.
They're looking at Yuri mid, though. He's in trouble. Side slips out the bandage toss. Flash forward to curse the Sad Mummy. Exhaust on his head. He's just at a range of that turret shot, but Assault and Battery comes on through. Balkan's angry, and he finds his first kill as he jumps on forwards. And there is the shutdown.
Yeah, Mammoth try and force in a situation where it is not wise. Winterer is free to roam. They have so much control of the top side of the map. If you look at the control words from Pentanet.gg, a straight line from the enemy red buff to the river. They know they have space, they have freedom to move, and that's exactly what they'll do. Balkan now going to look top lane. No teleport from Winterer, however, so it is just going to be to catch the minion wave. And we are, I'm going to say, in a very happy game state for PGG with how badly it started. And most of that is in the hands of Winterer, who is going insane.
Certainly is. He's been farming up an absolute storm well ahead of the timer here in terms of his itemization. We can see him putting in the hard yards right now, but it's surprising to me just how dead even it is now for Balkan, all down to the one shutdown, completely caught up to match that of the Volibear.
I think the big thing here is Yuri and Mikru. The gold difference between the two is about 1,000. Corki's a scaling option in mid lane as well, has basically a Tiamat in terms of items in advantage, also has free boots, so effectively an extra 300 gold ahead. On top of that 1,000 that you've been seeing, Voice obviously doing well, also has found himself 1,000 gold ahead. That is majority of the gold difference here overall. Winterer compensating as best he can into Paprise. Paprise is the gangplank who, if they continue to farm evenly, slowly catches up, however, just because he's able to use his Q for bonus gold on every minion. Very curious to see how this game continues to play out, right? Outer turret's starting to drop. Map's starting to open up just a little bit more, but in terms of lane assignments and where everyone is right now, nothing has changed.
Certainly hasn't for the meantime, but it is really interesting as you highlight just how far ahead Mikru is in this matchup. You mentioned before that Pentanet should be feeling very comfortable at the spot that they're in, but I'm sure there's a degree of comfort still for Mammoth feeling that, well, our AD carries ahead, our Corki's doing wonders. Business as usual.
Absolutely. I mean, what I mean by that is PG should be happy they found good things given how bad it has been going, right? Like, they put themselves in a state that is better than it was, which is nice because they were struggling in more than one way. But they still have so much to look forward to in terms of their own comp, right? Like, we can absolutely highlight Mammoth scaling. It is insane. But Yone's big scaling, Swain's really good for team fighting as well, can become potentially unkillable, and Ezreal in the right hands is insane. Kratos does have pretty safe hands.
Khan screwing up here. Kill opportunity wasn't as surefire as they would have imagined.
But this is the interesting thing, right? Like, the lane assignments haven't shifted at all. So Pentanet.gg are playing towards top as 3 when Drake is going to be up in 50 seconds. They're not going to put their Swain bottom because they want to prioritize having, you know, majority of the members on the right side of the map for the objective, but they play away from the objective anyway. And so Mammoth have really good vision control of the river proper area. And they get to weasel their way forwards here as well to make it difficult for entry for Pentanet.gg.
That is the biggest difference for me, right? All the control balls placed by Pentanet are towards the top half of the map. Vision around here is very much defensively minded. Confusion.
Okay. Scary men. Belkan walks up to you. He is pretty staunching as a figure. The Mammoth have control. LEG, no flash yet. Has Hex Flash.
And Package is back again. Good timing. This one, surely, if everybody's here in a 4-5v5, should net the value after it. You'd imagine PTG will want to put up a fight for this.
Yuri actually aggroes the Drake. If you're Mammoth, you pull this Drake out, right? LEG looking for angles, perhaps. Corky Package and a Mumu could absolutely win this team fight for Mammoth here and now.
In goes Balkan, Assault and Battery onto a key target, looking to lock them all down. Miku jumps on in with the Package from a bit of a distance away. 1-for-1 so far. The Drake has been secured. Mammoth have got free to the name right now, but Wintra absolutely unleashed. He's running at them with Demonic Ascension active. He's got a double, make it a triple. And you know he's hunting for that quadra. He slowed him down with those demon eyes. And he's telling Paprise, where are you running to? Where are you going? I'm going to lose vision for a second, but it does not matter because he's got the ghost active. He is running them down, and he's just going to burn them down.
Slow and steady. Might actually have to concede here just because there's kegs that could be in bushes. Paprise wants the fight? Oh, this is crazy. Okay, you two don't need to still be here. At any point, if you want to disengage, you could just walk away.
Winter can't continue to fight. He has no mana left. It's been that long that Balkan can literally go back to Fountain, rock up again.
There it is.
And end it with a bang.
Paprise, of course, were very caught there. Maybe didn't want him to teleport away. You would get to see the setup to this fight, which sucks, but Corky Package was used into the Drake. A Mumu ultimate was used onto a single person. One-man ultimate from a Mumu and a Corky with Package is no way to win a team fight, and that really is going to be majority of the difference here. They just don't hold the abilities. It is so important in competitive League as well as regular League of Legends to hold abilities where it's important. If a Mumu still has ult, Ezreal has to play a different game. Just wasting it like that is such a big mistake.
Feels like the fresh or the Blitzcrank effect, right? The constant rumble that a hook could be at any given moment there to displace you.
Like, imagine how difficult that fight could have been for Yuri, who had an outstanding team fight because everything was used in the pit onto just Balkan, who had already expended his Q to get over the wall, had nothing of use to provide other than a smite steal.
I guess a better analogy would be like, it's very similar to a Mal fight, right? You're always waiting for that unstoppable force forward. You're just saying, I'm holding my cooldowns, I'm holding my flash, I'm banging it out. If it never comes, you know, you've also got to play the fight in a very different fashion. Mikru's in so much trouble. How they got behind me? Assault and Battery kicked it away side, and no chance to even hit that flash button.
Mayfun going to face check another person as well, potentially, if he's not careful. Mammoth cannot contest this. Paprai is just going to try and actually get the turret bottom, and Mammoth just trying to create space for that to happen. But Voice is farming mid. They have no intent to contest this one whatsoever. It will result in just a turret trade, Skimmy, for what it's worth, but PGG get the extra kill on top of it.
Extra kill, and a rather aesthetically pleasing scoreboard for the top half of the draft, right? 3-3-3 in the jungle for Balkan after what was a bit of a disastrous start for him in Omen 2.
We're even in gold.
Bang on.
Somehow Balkan ends up with a shutdown, ended up ahead of Mayfarn in terms of his gold pretty early on as well, surprisingly. But this game's absolutely been Winter a gap. Had an outstanding team fight. Praetor's done his job really well, which is just don't die, right? Lose the minimum. Is in fact going towards a Luden's second here from the looks of it. Full AP Ezreal. Is that actually what we're seeing?
Let's beg the question, what are we going for? Once upon a time, we did see Crown of a Shattered Queen.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be, but I feel like that's just insecure, and you've got cleanse.
Just call him out on public like that.
Yeah, if he builds it. He's got a lost chapter. He's all right for now. He's not building it.
You got a Yuumi. What more do you need?
Yeah, you got a Yuumi. You've got cleanse. Just do more damage instead. Right. Very interested to see where the build ends up, actually. Especially with your AP top lane champion being more supportive with the Ryla's Imperial Mandate build. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have a bit of extra magic damage in the team. So, clever.
If it pays off, they're going to summon the Herald in the mid lane. PGG grouped up as 3 members strong. That turret will just be gone. That'll be their third of the game.
Mammoth have got a lot wrong here, Skimmy, back to back. Their lane assignments are putting the Corki top lane yet again. Gangplank pushing bot. You've got Drake up in 45 seconds, yet you've got the champion who wants the least to be stuck in a side lane like this, that is unsupported, stuck in that side lane. LEG and Mayfan are roaming together, which is good, right? They're able to set up some vision together. Control wards to be put down, sweepers ideally to be used, but they're both on cooldown, so they're just going to do what they can. But still, we exist in a world where these two have 0 damage between them. They absolutely need the Kai'Sa, the Gangplank, or the Corki to be there at the moment they try and engage to apply further damage.
Little damage, but a lot of CC. And that's the big thing you were highlighting from that previous Dragon fight, right? Is making sure it lands. And that will certainly land on Devoice. Instantly becomes the statue, praying that his team comes here in quick enough time. He hit the invisibility with that E, with that charge to run away. But how do you run away from so much mobility that Pentanet possess? A disastrous time to fall on down. Make it 2. The Dragon is there. It was the sole point for Mammoth to take, but they've been absolutely collapsed. The domino effect is in full force right now. 3 members strong, 3 members dead.
Paprise perhaps wants to try and steal this with a keg. He's going to get it. They actually get the Ocean Soul. That's just daylight robbery. That's just beast. He has no right being able to steal that soul point away.
Salutes in chat for the big Papton there.
They're going straight to Baron here. Gangplank's going to go bottom. He has teleport, he has ultimate. Just chuck the GPL down now, they push them back. There's no tankiness here from Pentanet.gg other than the Yuumi heals. Corki could be here throwing rockets, Skimmy.
Recalling back to base right now. They're not going to be deterred. They're going to look to say, well, you can get the Baron, we'll just get Inhibitor. We've stolen the Ocean Soul. We've now opened up the base. That True Shot barrage is nowhere near as scary as the Cannon barrage. What a crazy trade.
They actually get the Ocean Soul. They may not get the mid lane turret.
Oh! He's been caught in animation. He couldn't Valkyrie away. He's been exhausted as well. And from an ult into a Q3 charge, he flashes forward, sweeps his sword through, but it wasn't lethal. Mikru has survived. Now Yuri's running for the hills. He's got nothing left in the tank. No more juice.
You know what saved him? Ocean Soul healing saved his life.
Wow.
We're fighting again.
Oh no, Barkhan's scared. What a crucial shutdown now for Voice. His first kill of the game. Winter flashing forward. He's got a cleanse with an unsealed spellbook. A cat on his head. And all the damage and all the carry potential in the world to try and keep Pentanet in the driving seat. They've got Baron. Is that better than Ocean Soul? Ultimately, it's just going to be, what, a 1 for 2?
Yeah, but still, when the dust settles on all of that trade, Baron gone on so many members of Pentanet.gg, the mid lane turret breaks, the bot lane inhibitor has fallen, and the Ocean Soul has been secured by Mammoth with a 6 steal from Paprise just hitting the kegs. This game was swinging so far into Pentanet.gg's hands from mistakes by Mammoth. Voice gets caught. But just like the Kanga game, when someone gets caught, somehow they just make miracles happen. Magic on the Rift. And yeah, clutch. Good way to explain it. And the Ocean Soul keeps Mikru alive in that little skirmish that followed. Otherwise, he was so dead.
Everything burnt there by Yuri. He did everything he could. Really crazy set of circumstances here. And is that the out to keep Mammoth competitive in this game? Because the goal lead still is as close as anything considered, what, 24 minutes into this one. We have an incredibly fed Swain, 6-0-5 with the biggest shutdown to talk about right now. Look at the total gold. He's been in a league of his own from start to finish.
Paprise has gone towards a Sterex Gauge second here as well. Is really opting out of crit, out of lethality, just wants to exist. I'm not a fan personally of Sterex Gauge second. This is a small my rant, but I'd rather get it third if I was to get that item. I just think that there's better choices for second items in the game because they did nerf it up until a point where it's good. I think that's like level 15.
Yeah, seems a bit the average break point for a lot of champs. Yeah,
and again, like, wouldn't mind just a bit of extra damage into his build before that.
I'll tell you what though, he had enough damage to seal away the Ocean Drake. What it takes.
Yeah, I mean, 285 damage is apparently all he needs to deal once this game. And he's good. Micro level 14 as well, so we're hitting some level breakpoints. Paprise past 13 is good to go with his keg cooldowns. Micro 2 levels away from being the ultimate Corki.
Volcan spotting out Mayfang, hunting on the wings, looking for an angle in, looking for a flank, but it's not going to be found. Going to charge on forward. Actually have different ideas in the end, as Windra will preserve the Baron buff for what it remains of and prevent Ali G from getting too freaky with it. He's going to be forced to flash away. True Shot Barrage will not connect, but at least will reveal. Prowling Projectile rather is on. Final Chapter is there. The lockdown on towards that Amumu, who hits the Curse of Sage Mummy onto literally nothing. TP's come on through, and there is AoE damage like you would not believe. Look at the region on Windra. In stasis effect, but topped up and full HP. They want that shutdown. Can they find it? Finally they do. Voice with only 2 kills this entire game. Both have been shutdowns. Mammoth running away, but they get what they need.
Praedyth is really hunting for a 1v9 angle here. Winterer tries his best, but while he has survivability, he's not that tanky. Voice has no ultimate on this Kai'Sa, so the follow-through is not going to be so simple for them now. The full AD Kai'Sa build isn't going to be able to hit them with the W's. And Praedyth, as long as he doesn't get hit by this,
get away, Trisha Barrage once again. He's in so much trouble. Locked on down, the red carpet coming on through, dividing apart that fight. Can they trade back? Yuri finds one. On towards Voice, he can. 2 kills underneath the turret to salvage something at least for Pentanet.
Yeah, they pull another rabbit out of the hat, right? It seems like whoever the losing team is finds the miracles. They make it happen. Another teleport coming in top lane. We're not done.
It's the endless fight, the fight that will never cease to amaze. TP's coming in, committed there by Winter, but Balkan starting it and literally ending it with the turret for assistance.
And finally, things are going to stop. Yeah, it didn't, but we'll watch a replay. So you know what? Legally, we're not allowed to stop fighting. That's what I'm learning. Fight will happen again. Mumu Ultimate not doing really anything here, and the Mumu pick hasn't provided any kind of stock just yet. Voice doing a lot of damage here, though, is the real saving grace for Pentanet, against Pentanet.gg, rather, because that Swain looking mighty unkillable other than this Kai'Sa. And this is really where the fight should just fizzle, right? Like, there's such a big risk, but it continues. They find an angle from a really nice teleport with package from Mikru. It's a crazy game. And it is a full AP Ezreal.
Yeah, we got Leandries into the Lich Bane as well. I mean, he's been putting in a lot of work with the Poke and the Harass. There's a lot of interesting itemization, right? We were highlighting the fact that also we do have that Chobi tech. There is the Sunfire for Yuri in the mid lane.
Which is, in my mind, a good engage angle for Pentanet.gg, right? Like, what it provides is a Bruiser, Yone, not nearly enough damage, doesn't abuse the fact that you get a lot of scaling from the extra crit that your build can have. You could go Blade of the Ruined King into any item that you want.
You just said I don't really care about my passive whatsoever. That's starting to hurt. Nice ult there from the Ezreal. Another Elder. 2 back-to-back games, 2 Elders.
And they are well and truly hitting this one. Already at 8k HP. Ali G will be seen on this flank. Oh!
Winter starts things off. Look at the fate sealed off screen. Yuri's found him. Absolutely assassinated out Voice. They come back on through, and Miku just destroys them with the barrage of rockets. But ultimately, the saving grace, the victors in the end, all things Pentanet with an ace.
And they'll be able to go straight back towards the Elder Dragon. They can pick this one up with no contest at all. Everyone from Mammoth is dead. They might even have enough time to go straight from the Elder straight to the Baron if they wanted. We'll see how they choose to play this one out. But clean team fight from PGG, clean from Yuri. The whole squad just doing their job as required. You can see it in the last damage, last team fight damage rather. Yuri actually with a tank build, still an assassin. Had a pocket Yuumi, to be fair, which does increase the damage that you deal, but really the star of the show, they know Yuri was in this area. Voice doesn't walk with his team. He walks on vision with a cannon chasing him down. Yuri just smacks him. So much damage from Mikru, yes, but he's just going to get hit by the Vice, like we spoke about from draft, right? He's just going to stop one person from existing. And again, no massive impact to be really seen from these Amumu ultimates because the fight was already lost by the time it came out.
And it was an ult on towards the Swang, which was an ult form that was just regenning any kind of CC, any kind of concern that could have come as a result of that action. Crazy set of circumstances here. Pentanet will get a chance to flex their might with this Elder and will go straight towards that Baron, but Mammoth are here. Can they find a setup?
They certainly cannot find setup. That's the real tragedy here. It looks like it's just going to be a steal attempt from Mayfun.
Oh, he flashed across the wall. It's ever so close if they Mayfun. He had a crack. He tried to tap into some Paprise magic.
The Ezreal got it. Wasn't even a smite that secured it, so there was a real chance that he found that one. Paprise so far away from being on the right side of the map, stopping to hit the red buff.
He knocked him with the blast, and he's knocked
He best be
Balkan
teleporting.
into the Dragon Pit. No! He's going to get away with the TP.
Balkan was charging that Q on the other side of the Dragon Pit, looking for the angle. Do I take this?
The Q flash ult, I don't know.
Yeah, it was possible. Yeah, he's just going to get away with a bit of daylight robbery there. Clears the mid wave, buys them, 15 to 20 seconds of map time, which is enough for Mayfun to respawn. Also hits a pretty solid keg there, but doesn't do much damage, Skimmy, because he's a bruiser without crit.
There he is, but he's looking for the Elder proc. Oh, he's so close. Ate some oranges. And he's A-okay once again, but he has to go back to that fountain. That just opens the floodgates here for Pentanet to push on forward. Mid inhib, gone. Second one in their sights for 2 minutes. A very long time in this Baron. Still 30 seconds, bear in mind, for the Elder.
It's going to be 2 inhibitors you would expect for sure. Just hovering around the area, waiting for the minions to collapse here. Praedyth using his E forwards.
Oh, we're on. Yuri jumps in, instantly slingshots back. He's baited out Ali G. The bandage toss took him on an absolutely magical journey, but one that doesn't have much magic for him to be happy about. It's a disaster for Mammoth in this situation. The Elder, literally just before it expires, zaps them in their face. And Voice goes in and with that killer instinct and does just that, finds one, hunting for a second. Praedyth Golden, but falls on down. Voice doing whatever he can in a clutch situation. Can he get four? The GA's being procced on either side. Winterer has to lock them down with a Demon Eyes, and that he certainly does. Drag him back with a claw and prevent the clutch factor here. There is the ace, and there is the end to such a wild game.
I mean, that was absolute insanity. There was absolutely angles that Mammoth won that game. That was not clean by any means. It was dicey, especially for Balkan early. Had just been bodied in the jungle. Volibear took everything from him, and a couple of really rough fights from them. But in the end, they bring it back. They get the fights that they're after, back to standard PGG gameplay, let's say. But Yuri did exactly what we needed, right? That's probably the biggest thing for me, is he became the hero, did the Chovy tank build.
What is going on here?
I don't really... Trying to be Yumi, I think.
Oh, yes. Maybe copying the EDG skin.
Is it Battle Principle or EDG?
True, yeah, maybe Battle Principle. Shout out Kitty, who knows?
Yeah.
Either way,
whatever.
They got the job done there, Mac. What a stressful game it was, though. I tell you what, it had so many back and forths. It really was a game of two halves.
Mate, that calls for a dare triple espresso after that. That was fun. That was just back and forth gameplay. Whole lot of everything going on. That game had essentially it all. And also, shout outs to Rogue for the beautiful Yumi cosplay at the end. And look, we're getting some post-game celebrations again from PGG.
That's true.
You love to see it. Now, that one in particular, interesting because Mammoth had a relatively large lead, and then PGG played it to perfection, got a couple of mispositioned Mammoth members in a lot of those fights, managed to turn the fights their way, and then after we had Pappy stealing the soul, which was beautiful, by the way. I actually popped off in the green room all on my own today because Kitty's not here. But after that, I was just like, oh, we got a game. He's going. He took inhib. Baron got a little bit of value, not a super large amount, but Mammoth were looking so good in that early to mid game.
They were looking, honestly, the better team.
Yeah.
Right up until maybe 20 minutes. I think that was one big team fight where things started to shift. This is probably the one. Corky package going for just the Drake, and Muma ultimate for just the Drake, right? Like, this is, I think legitimately, if they win this fight, they just snowball the game out of control. But there's clutch factors behind every individual member of Pentanet.gg. They're one of our super teams for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Because individually, they're good enough to find angles, and they absolutely did.
I was looking at Yuri's build. I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? but at the same time, he was still just outputting so much damage. I actually can't wait to see the scoreboard at the end to see how much damage he did overall, because he was fighting. Like, this whole game is just going to have inflated damage stats, because there was just a whole lot of fights. You guys were talking about the, minute and a half, 2 minute long bloody fights there all over the place. They just kept on getting dragged out. Here's that bloody, the barrel steal of the Drake. You don't see it often, but he was very, very proud of himself. Oh, what a damn game that one was. And then, look, that second Elder going to PGG was definitely a diffy. Honourable mention to Voice, almost saving the game.
So close.
What a bloody play from him. Gets the triple. Or, was it a triple? Yeah, it was. Yep. Triple, almost the quad. Technically was, but, GAs exist. He had one of his own. And shout-outs to Rogue.
Wow.
Here's that damage. Plenty coming through from Yuri, even though he had a tank mythic, Rusty.
Yeah, it's very much an engage-focused build from what I can gather as well, right? Like, you build Blade of the Ruined King, and with one item, you still do so much damage that you're able to still play team fights and operate as a different role to the assassin Yone that you get from them, right? Even in that last team fight, goes for the engage by himself, brings an Amumu in all the way, but is going to survive and persevere. So Yuri doing really well. I think Praedyth quietly achieved that entire time with an AP Ezreal. And Winter was the hero of the show, it felt like, through the first maybe 20 minutes of the game that kept PGG in a winning position.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, you know what that means. Highlights are done, scoreboard's done. Dare MVP discussion. Talk to me.
It's actually a bit of a difficult one for me to try and gauge, right? Because you start to ask the question, do you give it for Winter for giving that stability in the early game to hold on? Do you give it to Yuri for the fact that he popped off with a very much bruiser-focused build where he was locking down key targets with those ultimates, making it very hard for him to try and play? Or do you, for Praedyth, that he was just quietly achieving and sort of min-maxing on the Ezreal?
I like how he never mentioned Rogue because he's playing Yuumi, and that's
fair.
I mean, that's fair. Didn't see an impact. You never see the impact of a Yuumi.
Hey guys, you know how I roasted myself and said I was a terrible host earlier because I got told, you just say mean things to yourself? I actually jumped the gun. It's not time for the Dare MVP discussion. It's actually time to talk to Winterer, and then we'll talk about MVPs. Winterer, do you want to be the MVP? Do you reckon you played the best out of your team that game?
Oh yeah, everyone else was inting tonight, so
okay.
I got the MVP.
Even Praedyth, was he? I thought he played, relatively safe for the most part.
He's not bad, but he could play much better for sure.
Okay, true. So what went wrong? Were you guys just having a bit too much fun? Was Volkan just taking engages as Vi? Just having too much fun? You want to talk me through that and how you salvaged, losing that soul to a barrel? That was unfortunate. And then look, multiple Barons as well and Elders to get you back in the game.
Vi is a really good pick into Koki, we thought, but then we had a early game issue, which Mayfan played really well. And then our last Dragon Soul, he wanted to save his smite for Baron, but Pepperise is a king, so he got the soul, so he was pretty unlucky.
Okay, how did you enjoy that matchup up top, going up against Pepperise today?
My coach GP told me his GP stat is 0-10 in his career, so we didn't give a single F about it, and he didn't get a single battle this game in lane, so it was pretty easy matchup.
Okay,
also, a lot of time he used a Bluetooth barrel, which is the barrel not connected together, Bluetooth. So it was pretty fun versing him in top lane.
Beautiful. Now, we've got to wrap things up, but quickly before you go, it is yesterday was National Compliment Yourself in the Mirror Day. What do you say to yourself before every game to get pumped up?
Usually I just listen to Dragon Ball Z hype music before going to the game. Get myself hyped up and my team as well. So yeah, that's all I do.
And then you stand there and put some water in and spike your hair up, just rah in the mirror, or just listen to the music?
Just listening to music while doing some push-ups.
Oh, yes, good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. I'm not allowed to do those, but look, thanks for coming, Winterer. We'll talk to you next time you have a dub.
See you, pal.
Buddy, old pal, huh? Mac the
I
pal.
love
eh?
how harsh he is on the teammates, and he's only half joking. He's like,
Yeah.
no, they were inting.
Yeah.
I deserve MVP. They were inting.
Yep. But does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him MVP because he probably listens to Super Saiyan 10-hour-long mix just in the mirror.
True.
Like
He
that.
probably does. And look, that's exactly why we're going to give him the Dare MVP for game number 3 of the day. PGG pulling it through in the end, which was arguably a comeback because I was looking at the gold graph and Mammoth were up by about 3 or so K for a while. A lot of involvement today, Russ.
Yeah, 80% kill participation for a top lane is almost unheard of. That's really rare. Usually you'll see him hover around 50% because they're teleporting in the whole time, but the game was played around Winterer. He was the definite carry of the team and absolutely did his part.
Yeah, just absolute nuisance, you know, going for that Rylai's nice and early, just slowing up everyone, picking people off, staggering respawns as well. There was times when Paprise was stuck in that bloody lower red side jungle and you're just like, oh man, he just got stuck there for a while. Either way, that game went for a while, so we're going to get to a break real quick, smart, to get on into the final game of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go too far. That one's coming up. It is Order up against Chiefs, a banger to close things out here on the LCO.
The Bandage Toss took him on an absolutely magical journey, but one that doesn't have much magic for him to be happy about. It's a disaster for Mammoth in this situation. The Elder, literally just before it expires, zaps them in their face. And Voice goes in and with that killer instinct and does just that, finds one, hunting for a second prey to Golden, but falls on down. Voice doing whatever he can in a clutch situation. Can he get four? The GA's been procced on either side. Winterer has to lock them down with a Demon Ice, and that he certainly does. Drag him back with a claw.
Hey, look, menu pong.
There's nothing I could say about Skimmy that will hurt him more than his Uwu hurting me.
Oh, do you want another one?
Oh,
Do you want another one?
That's a friendly roast
Come back to
because
life.
that
Get
hurt
ready.
them.
All
Get
right,
ready,
Sarah.
Skimmy.
All right, Sarah.
3,
Look at me
2,
in the camera.
1.